Okay, guys, welcome to Dance Therapy 2. And today we're going to talk about something from something about, sorry, where is it? We're going to talk about this concept of kinesphere. So, the concept of kinesphere comes to life as you move through the different spaces of your world. Your kinesphere traveling with you to each new place. Traveling with you to each new place. Paying attention to kinesphere brings insight into the general movement patterns of an environment. Kinesphere reveals personal and cultural preferences and makes it easier to understand and adapt to different situations. So basically, kinesphere is your realm of movement, not realm of movement, but your range of movement, right? Your range of your spatial awareness and your range of movement. So kinesphere, although the kinesphere is the most general way of to talk about the sphere of movement around the body, there are further distinctions within the concept that can lend insight to movement, including size of the kinesphere, various location within the kinesphere, and how the body moves through and reveals its kinesphere. So, psychological kinesphere. The psychological, I'll just touch briefly on this before I go to the therapy session, before I go through the demonstration. So the psychological kinesphere is the space a person pays attention to or identifies as their own, and that they feel with their energy. So this is our energetic space, our conscious space, the space that we are conscious of, that we perceive as our own, right? So for example, if you might perceive your own space as the space. For me, my visual space is what I call my own. Even though I share a space with someone, I perceive it as my space, right? And I perceive it as everyone else's space. I perceive space as, not owned by anyone, that is free for everyone to use, and that it's overlapping. Everyone gets to own it at the same time. So that's how I perceive my space, usually visually, right? You can perceive a space through other senses as well, but for me, it's very visual. Anyways, like the physical kinesphere, the psychological kinesphere grows and shrinks based on how much of the space a person recognizes and claims as their own. So psychological kin so some and a reverse example of this is someone who is made to feel apologetic, is made to feel like they don't belong, is made to feel like everything is not theirs, like someone, it can be, for example, a narcissist might violate your things, touch all of your things as if it's their own, right? And then they will make you feel like they own you, they own your body, they own your senses, they own your space, such that you feel like you feel out of place, you feel like you don't belong there, you don't belong at this space, you feel very small and shrunken, like your kinesphere is completely shrunken. And when it's completely shrunken, that's when the narcissist will take you out, right? That is the brutal annihilation of the narcissist. So we need to learn how to expand our kinesphere, and don't believe the narcissist whenever they're trying to convince you that things are not yours. Believe that it is yours, that everything is everyone's, right? That we have an ownership to everything, as does everyone, right? Everything, like for example, the space, especially space, everyone owns the space, right? Everyone owns every space at the same time because it is free for everyone. For example, this bottle that I'm holding, it can be, you can, everyone, it doesn't have to be completely mine. You know what I mean? Even though I call it my own, even though I own this, I don't make you feel out of place when you're in my presence holding this bottle. I don't make you feel like this is mine, you can't touch it. Like, even though I say that, even though I imply that, even though if you touch it, I will make you feel completely, make you feel like you've done something terribly wrong. Like, even though I imply that, even though I abuse you in that way, you should never feel that this bottle is mine and my own. that this bottle is, it belongs to me only, and gives me the entitlement, entitles me to abuse you in that way. No, because that is not, the bottle is not mine. The bottle is just an object, and it is not, it is not owned completely. Nothing is ever owned completely by a single individual, and you must never allow someone to let you believe that, right? You own everything in some fraction, right? To some degree, you own everything. So you need to claim the space, you need to claim that, and that is the first step to recovery. And anyways, it says here, psychological kinesphere lends itself to interpretation and thus is less concrete than other aspects of the space category. However, it can be useful for coaching performers and describing your perceptions of a psychological attitude. So one last thing is over here. It says, to connect to the experience of a large psychological kinesphere, imagine you are camping alone. You are in your tent and you hear an unusual sound, an unusual noise outside that is like a squirrel but could be something else. You begin paying attention to every sound made in what seems like the entire woods, as if you could hear and sense everything that was happening all around you for miles. It is as if you have expanded your sense of the sphere around you to psychologically encompass a very large range. In the case of a small psychological kinesphere, now imagine you are on an airplane and want to keep to yourself and eventually doze off. Right? You're in an airplane, want to keep to yourself, and you eventually doze off. Um, in order to let the neighbors in the nearby seats know that you are not there for a conversation, you draw your senses of what is yours to be very small and inward toward yourself, as if to say, this is my space and only this, right? So you kind of retract yourself from conversation from your neighbors, so that you're able to remain private, right? So that you have privacy. You retract yourself, right? That is how you can morph your kinesphere uh, according to your own choice, right? So you can decide to focus your attention only on a small space, so that people will respect that and not disturb you if they are not a narcissist. But you can also choose to expand your consciousness, so that your awareness encompasses everything, like the guy in the woods, right? The camper, so that you are aware of everything as it is happening, right? So that you're vigilant and you're aware and you're careful. Yes. So, and only this, and you're alert, right? And so back to the article, it says you draw your sense of what is yours to be very small and inwards towards yourself, as if to say, this is my space and only this. So that's the airplane one. I'm not interested in what is beyond my thoughts and sensations, right? So I'm not interested in what's beyond my thoughts and sensations. So I want to keep things small, so that I'm allowed my own privacy. So that is kinesphere, right? There's two ways. Sorry, there's two options that you can go for. A large psychological kinesphere, when you want to interact with the world, either for your own safety or for what do you call that, relationship dynamic, for a relational interaction, or you want to retract into a small psychological kinesphere, where you are going into introspection, you're going into your own space, extracting yourself from society, from everyone, into a own safe space, right? Into a small safe space, and both can be okay. You don't have to be large all the time. You don't have to be small all the time. You get to choose whatever works for you best at the moment. So this is what kinesphere is all about. It's about being flexible with your consciousness, with your awareness of what you own, what you believe you own. You can control your belief of what you own and to what degree you own it, and hopefully to light degrees, because we're not supposed to own things completely. That will make us narcissistic, and it would be very unhealthy, because if we believe we own this bottle, for example, completely, and somebody touches it, can you imagine how painful it is, how enraged we would be? So that would be, we need to own things, we need to own our space, own and not let people change our belief, right? We need to own things lightly and not let people change the belief that we are entitled, we have a right to own those things, right? So we need to fight for our own rights in that way, by keeping our belief that we owned all things and everything to some degree. This is called the infinite consciousness, the cosmic consciousness, right? The infinite existence, because we own everything to some degree, and we need to believe that that is true, to get out of that small mentality, right? But also we can retract whenever we need, when it gets too much or whatever, for whatever reason, whether you want privacy, whether you need to whether you need some solitude or whatever. You can always go for the option of a small kinesphere, right, rather than being big and loud all of the time, right? So that is psychological kinesphere. So with that, let's go to a music. Let's go find some music for uh, practicing dance. So let's go for, what music should we go for? Um, all right, bear with me for a moment. Cello.
She read 30 books in 30 days. Can you imagine? A book a day for a month? Amazing. I wanted to.
Okay. space you need.
This is not a phone.
Sorry.
This is a cafe, a photographer, a pet groomer.
So take whatever space you need. Listen to your body. Listen to your gut. Let the music expand your being. Think of your energetic sphere as like a bubble. Grow, grow, and expanding. Beyond, beyond the walls, beyond objects, beyond your immediate surrounding. Beyond that. Whatever that you are aware of is yours. Whatever you sense, you can claim. all of existence. Is a part of you.
Your idea is part of what defines you. That desire to name it and make it real, giving you the tools.
That's right.
Every journey must start somewhere. What follow are the
Explore your kinesphere, the range of movement accessible to you. Explore your attention, how you can morph it wherever you want, however you wish. Your energy. Okay, that's all for this session. I hope you enjoyed that. Gradually move out of exploring. Gradually start to slow down your movement and come to a stop. And come back to the present moment. Feel your surroundings. Feel your immediate senses. Take a deep breath. And we're done. So I hope you expanded your kinesphere and explored more possibilities today. That is the aim of this exercise, to allow your mind to expand the possibilities, right? To allow your mind to see the possibilities, the immense, infinite possibility of choices in movement, in thought, in anything. And that can help you recover and cope with narcissistic abuse, with anything in your life, and help you progress smoothly instead of getting stuck at one region. You're more flexible, you're more resourceful, right? You become connected to this innate, intuitive source of enlightenment that can give you an instinct to deal with anything in your life in an effortless, effective, and skillful way. So that is what this therapy is all about, to allow you to connect to that source. So I hope you enjoy that and have a good day. Stay mindful, peaceful, and powerful, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Oh, and don't forget to join me at my live stream on Friday morning at 10 a.m. GMT 10 a.m. for live stream at my Patreon, which I will add in the description below. So the live stream will be very much similar to this two-part live stream, which is one part will be on where I'll be dissecting materials on recovering from narcissistic abuse and how to develop an immunity to narcissistic abuse, understanding the minds of a narcissist. And another session would be on dance therapy, much like this one. So there will be a two-part session, two-part live stream session at my Patreon this Friday at GMT 10 a.m. At Patreon in the link below. So join me if you want, if you're interested, and I'll see you then. Otherwise, I'll be doing live streams every Tuesday, GMT 7:30 p.m. And I hope I'll see you next week. Bye. I hope you enjoyed that. Bye now. Say it too many times.